preparation comes to mind. This is the time for you to prepare for what's to come. And what Tamara said too, like having these types of things in order so you are ready for when that does bloom, because when it happens so fast that there's no time to prepare then. This is your time to prepare while you have the stability. Second thing is you talk about a lot of like overwhelm and things like that. Just remember that the enemy will create overwhelm because when we're in chaos and we're moving fast, we don't have time to let God in and direct us and guide us. And third, when the time is there, whether you are willing to move or not, whether you're ready, he will pull it. Much to April's, the same thing happened to me. My career of 12 years. My identity was wrapped up into that. I had no idea who I was without that actual position, and he took it from me. I mean, to be fair, I said, if this is no longer for me, please take it because I don't have the strength to actually walk away. And he did, literally 7 days later.
Praise God.
Um, I was
Great
so
prayer, by
thankful
the
for
way.
that. What's that?
It's a great prayer, by the way.
Yes,
Just
yes.
do it for me, God. I don't have the strength. You do it.
Yeah, like I didn't have the strength. And I think that again, we get like caught up in this, my flesh and my human form. Like I want these things, I want the achievements, accolades, and all of that. But at the end of the day, that's not important. And um, what was my next? Oh, okay. So 3 months into this, I was like, yeah, I'm going all in, and I was doing really good. And then my bank account dwindled. I had like $0, like not even kidding, $0, no unemployment coming in. Um, I prayed to God that night after my husband and I got into this conversation of like, he's like, we got to figure it out. I don't care what we do, take any job, whatever. And I was like, God, I know that you believe in me, but I don't believe in me, and I don't trust that I can fulfill what you have for me. And I said, I just need a job. And I applied to 144 places, and in 3 months, zero people called me. And the next morning, 7 a.m., I had an employer call me and they offered me a six-figure salary. And I immediately took it. It was like I didn't really negotiate. Anyway, I took it. It was a year of absolute hell of my life. And I wanted more time with my family, and I was driving 4.5 hours, and I saw them 1 hour a day. Um, so much more happened in that time. I lost five family members. All of this stuff was chaotic in my life. And I remember praying and I was like, I see what you did. I see what you did. And I was like, I love you for giving me exactly what I asked for. And I love that you gave me something that you knew I wouldn't desire. You knew that this would be this would be the worst time of my life, but you did what I asked you to do because I didn't trust that what you had was greater. So I say that because we can get caught up in the thought of financials in our house and our mortgages and all of that, which are important. I was also just a one income household. My husband couldn't work. Uh, and it got to the point where when I lost the second job, because I got fired from that job too, he was like, okay, I'm done. Like, no more. I'm not playing your game anymore. And I let that go. Well, I didn't let it go. He let it go for me. But I just remember saying, because he's like, do you trust me? And I was like, yeah, I trust you. I trust you. And he was like, prove it. And again, I got down to unemployment wasn't kicking in. I was 4 days away from my mortgage. I had $400 and my mortgage was way more than that. Um, and I just remember my husband was questioning me again. So it was the same scenario. And he was like, we got to figure it out. What are we going to do financially? And I was like, you know what? I was like, I don't know what we're going to do, but I absolutely know that God's going to provide. And he was like, okay, that's great, but we need money. And I was like, no, like this is out of my hands. Like I lay it to God. Like this has nothing to do with me. And I remember like just saying out loud, God, I don't know what your plan is, but I know that you're going to provide and I trust you. Like I wholeheartedly trust you and I take my hands off of this. And within 2 hours, my mom called me and she was like, hey, like, how are you doing financially? And me and my mom don't have that type of relationship, which we're getting there, but we didn't at the time. And I was like, actually really bad. Like I don't have money for my mortgage, like I have this and like I don't have enough to cover it. And she was like, I'm gonna send you $500. And I was like, oh, I was like, I don't think so. Like I don't think that's a good idea. But he just kept saying, and when this was happening, he said, I need you to receive what I am speaking through her. And I was like, okay. So I was like, but I'm going to pay you back. Anyway, so she gave me this $500 and the day before my mortgage was due, my unemployment kicked in. And I was just like, you were so good and so gracious to me. Even when I, like, all of this time when I begged you for a job and you gave me the job and it was terrible, and I blamed you for the terrible job, like, you still showed up for me. And he was like, finally, I exhausted you to the point where you finally learned to surrender. And it literally does get to that point where we break enough and we're like, okay, I can't do this the way that I want to do it, so like I give it up. And like I really do think surrender comes in that breaking, that time when you're like, I literally physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually cannot do it anymore on my own. And that it just, I don't know, it just comes in such a like, he's like, you're ready now, huh? You're ready. And I just love that so much.